Welcome back to Ogbako Ishi Obi Biafra channel. Welcome everyone, and greetings to anyone watching this video presentation today, the 14th of August 2021, according to the time zone where I am right now in the Western Hemisphere. And today is also the day of the true Shabbat, being EKE UKWU, EKE IDU N'OBA, EKE UKWU. This video was made last night at the decades hour before the dawn, which is now today, where we are supposed to be having the celebration of the ushering in of the creation as was commanded for us to keep holy after being sanctified by CHIUKWU OKIKE, our Father who is in heaven. And I know some people will be wondering why I have not been making videos in the past couple of weeks, but is the word that doesn't belong to me. It is a time for the top of the Udi mountain and the valley of the Kukuruku hill. It is the time of the Atlas and the East Valley. It is the time of the Adamawa mountain, the Cameroon mountain, and the valleys. And it is the time of the great wilderness, the time of the great Kilimanjaro and the East Rift valleys. Is the time of the Futajalon, Obomosho hills, and all the great hills and mountains of the land of the ancient, the motherland, the land of Biafra, the land where it all began. And also across all other lands of the Igbo people, the Rockies, the Andes, the Himalayas, the Alps, and the whole all of the others. But some people might be asking me why I include all these mountains and include all these lands. Yes, everyone that has the image of CHIUKWU OKIKE in the appearance of the great dark Shanuzen soil that has the likeliness of CHIUKWU OKIKE and the derivatives, because a lot of people have been whitewashed, whited out, but it's all the grace of CHIUKWU OKIKE. It's all his decision will be made to know who is the elect and the salvageable, who has the truth and knows the name and who is going to be. For we all are, as things has turned out to be, the dry bones in the valley. But he will decide who lives again and who does not, based on his enabler, which is his ophonog, which is his covenant that he made with our fathers. Therefore, I thank CHIUKWU OKIKE who made it possible that we're back. We're back to this message of hope and this message of salvation, this message of redemption, O CHIUKWU. All the glory and praises be yours, and all the ultimate respect and adoration and honor be yours. And to our fathers, our ancient fathers, ancestors, the Most High asks us to honor you, not only when you are alive, our fathers, not only when we are alive, but even after you have gone to rest as you have done today, watching with CHIUKWU OKIKE and while we're here asking you and our Creator, say, who is making it possible for you to be the people to champion this, to be used to champion this message. We are here to say, may you be honored by us forever. Now, let's go into the topic of today. The main topic of today is the recipe of getting Biafra, returning Biafra to its place, to be the light and the salt to the world, to save not only Biafra, not only NDIGBOO, not only Igbo niile, but also the world, because our Father in heaven gave us dominion, and dominion doesn't mean to oppress them just like the heathens do, but make sure that everybody is happy and is safe. And he gave us the recipe to do that, and also to make sure we know who we are, to show why and how. Igbo is the CHIUKWU's children of the Most High, the people of the ancient, and Biafra, his first nation on earth, the set apart nation from the old, right from the beginning. Now, again, what are these recipes? The recipes has been made known at the beginning of this message and this journey, or this exodus. And it is that CHIUKWU OKIKE is the only one that will give us Biafra. That it will be with the arm and the ultimate tool of truth, with his covenant, the medicine, the ultimate medicine being the covenant, symbolized in Ofonogu. This is Sefer Oseha. It is a writing and not a symbol to worship. We do not worship Arsi. We do not worship Abara. Because they are only, what they are is the Ndunai Hobara with CHIUKWU, and they ask us never to desecrate it or Arsi. The only person we will worship, we are made to worship and bow to, and never to make caricature or use his name in vain, and to keep his Shabbat and give him the ultimate, the overall, the ultimate honor and glory and praise is CHIUKWU OKIKE Biama alone, no interpretation in any other language, because Igbo is the language of heaven. And the fourth recipe is teamwork. In teamwork, it was declared that also, as we have done last Monday, the August 9th, 2021, and in different demonstrations, and in that August 9, 2091, we overwhelmingly showed that solidarity for the abduction and the unlawful rendition of the leader of this journey, this agitation for the liberation of the nation of CHIUKWU. Now, in this liberation, in order to make all these things we have mentioned here, including the recipe that Biafra is the first nation, Igbo is the first people from which other people were derived, we're going to come to the whole thing is buried in the language of heaven. People, when people are in coma, near death, struggling between death and life, and claiming that they are awakened. When people are claiming command and control, many people, according to the prophet before us, Hosea, who the heathens call Hosea or Husha. Hosea means to witness or to see salvation. As the secret of the Most High is with those who fear Him, and fear Him means in His covenant. And when people start speaking of command and control, the covenant is that which keeps us in check, and not position, title, and dictatorship. No, you don't dictate. The Most High dictate, especially in a sacred journey like this. So you have to go back and read and study one of the most outstanding the outstanding exodus of our people, just few thousands of years ago, 3,000 or so. That was headed by Moses and completed by Yahushua. You call, the hidden tells you to call Joshua. Yahushua means salvation of CHIUKWU OKIKE and not salvation of anything in the skin, not to talk about they have human and have beast. No man can save, but if without CHIUKWU OKIKE, who maintains the grace and mercy and forgiveness. And in creation, the identity of Igbo, the Igbo identity that is hidden in that language, lack of understanding of the language and the covenant. It is embedded in the creation of this earth. And on the first day, which is a day like this, before the evening, before this daylight that we are celebrating his sanctified day and keeping it holy, by not working on that day, on the land on that day, by not making marriages on that day, no funeral, no burial on that day, but only to keep him holy, keep it that day that he made sanctified, which is the day of EKE today, holy. And on this day was the day the Most High, CHIUKWU OKIKE, created the heavens and earth, starting from the darkest hour that's just passed before this daylight. And the earth was, and he created them from with his spirit at the center of the earth from the waters. And that's one of the identities of Biafra and the Igbo that we are about to ask CHIUKWU OKIKE to reveal for his people to be free. And he, at the tail end of the darkest hour, the Most High called and they said, declared and said, let there be light, and there was light. It was good. And at the eve of today, the ending of today, beginning of the next eve, that will stretch into the next daylight, to the end of the next daylight, the Most High created the expanse. Then he separated them into day and night. And then the following day, which is ORIE. ORIE means for what to eat and what to rely on to live, sustain us on earth. At the beginning, he created the expanse of land between the waters and called it Igwe, heaven. And on the next day, which is Ukwu, after ORIE UKWU, the Most High, CHIUKWU OKIKE, Abiyama ya hụ ụwa nna nke ebi n'eluigwe, he created the mountains. Afo means to press, to squeeze out the water under the earth, to clean it up through the mountains so that we can have fresh water And in this case, the Igwe River was created first, which discharges into the Atlantic Ocean. Igwe River, the hidden, or the Caesars called it Cross River, changed the name to hide that such identity. That's one of the hidden identities of the Igbo line. And on the side of it, 100 miles, about 100 miles to the center of the earth, north of the center of the earth, is the CHIUKWU, the kingdom that is called by his name that still remains today, till today, that they call CHIUKWU. Aro is our people. Aro is not a place, but our people, from Ibibio people, Ibibio Anan and Efik, people who had the responsibility to guard the temple and the city. But the Caesar called them CHIUKWU. Now, when you check you, when you're worshiping your Caesar, now when you check who you're supposed to worship and where the temple was or is still there right now. But Caesar thinks that he has defiled it, but he defiled himself. And then it is from there, if you connect that data of the Igwe River to the equator, that is where the location of the center of the world is, and that's where the CHIUKWU, from where CHIUKWU created heaven and earth, and after he created it and made it line. On the fourth day, he created the sun to light the day and create some warmth and motion, and the energy to power the earth. So was the moon and the stars to light the night and the create motion that helps to drive the world during the night. And we're going to get into this in subsequent videos, the implications of these in the subsequent videos. And on the fifth day, he created the fowls, the sea creatures, the fowls, and the monsters, sea monsters, and blessed them to multiply according to their own kinds. No mixing. For those who half animal, half human beasts, that will tell you what to ban and what to stop and what not to stop. They're carrying that book and they call it Babel, which means they're either not reading it or using it, or they are using it to deceive the world. And then on the sixth day, the Most High created the earth living creatures, cattle, creeping things and the beasts of the field. And they say the same to them. Bless them and ask them the commands that they multiply according to their own kinds. And on the 7th, not the 6th day, the Most High said, the Spirit of the Most High said, CHIUKWU OKIKE said, let us make human, Mando, the beauty of life. The Igbo, male and female. In our own image and likeness, the image of the sand, the black chosen sand, soil, and in his likeness, the path of his righteousness that reflects from the covenant that he made with our fathers on that same day, which is being renewed every time that the whole world is full of evils. Like a time like this, like the time was during the time of Moses and Yahushua, and the Yahushua the Mashiach, they say he didn't say Mashiach or Mashiach, whatever, but to keep your hands clean. And now is another time. The time when he's going to, that was prophesied that he will be inscribing it in our face and heart, and in our heart, and as well as in our tongues, like he did to our ancestors, so that we do not misspeak or misjudge or forget, so that the affliction will not be for any other second time. No more time, no more affliction. So the Most High didn't make this covenant with our fathers to punish them. As a punishment, the goal, intention is not to punish them, but to help them and help themselves, to guard it, to guard themselves, to be safe and happy in peace in the land that he gave to our ancestors, being the land, this land, the earth, and the land of Biafra, the beginning. So you can see now it's not at the 6th day that he created the man or human. It was at the 7th day, and it was at this same 7th day that he made the covenant, the first covenant with them, to keep them safe, free, secure, and happy. Then on the night before the next EKE UKWU, EKE IDU N'OBA, another Shabbat, which is the Sabbath day, the following day become another Sabbath, and it goes on. Starts with the 4 days replicated twice as the big 4 and the small 4 days, with all the functions took place. And these functions, the Shabbat is a celebration of the the creation activity of CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiama and not as the creatures. About the creatures, not by, in heavenly bodies, but not the moon and Saturday like today, because this is a coincidence that the EKE UKWU was celebrated or run into this day. This is a coincidence. We know worshiping season, or he's Saturn, and it's not Sunday. Also, it's not Sunday. Now that's how we know who we worship and who worships who. And then it is from this center of the earth that CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiama pointed at the city, CHIUKWU, the city that is called by his name. Yerushalayim is the city of the prince, which is also his city, but is by, as you can see in the real language of heaven, Yerushalayim is not the city that is called by his name, although it is the city of CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiama. His princes he sent to the north to do what we're doing today, to stop the surging of evil. Adam did and failed. Probably because he married one of his people that already lived there, that were being menaced by the devil, for which CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiama sent him to confront them. Yasha, Jesha, just go confront them. But he was tricked through his woman. It's her name, whom he gave the name from where he came from, Chihuahua. Till today, there is a place near CHIUKWU called Chihuahua. There's something that any one of us who have any element of truth in us do not have to go to doubt and lose his soul, life, and get wasted. This is a warning from the heavens. This is not mine. And here, even a few days ago, I can never dream of hearing this kind of hard truth coming out of my mouth. But to CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiama be all the glory and praises. So when we speak of the center of the earth, we're speaking in the waters around the Bakassis Peninsula. And if you can move the Americas back to where they originally were before they were separated from that end, you can see where the Gulf of Mexico, the curve there of the Andes and the Rockies join. You can see them fit into the area of Bakassi Peninsula. He who has ear, let him hear, and know who is speaking. That is not me, but he, for us to be witness and understand and believe that he is none other but CHIUKWU OKIKE. And not all these rubbish names that you guys worship this time now. The next minute you worshiping Caesar. The next minute you worshiping the moon and stars and heavenly bodies. The next minute you're calling on man, half man, half beast, as your savior and as your deliverer, as your Lord and Creator and the Savior. No. You want to worship CHIUKWU? You worship CHIUKWU. If you want to worship the beast or creatures, you go worship your creatures and your stone and wood, the real stone and wood. This is right. This is safer. The carvings you see in our Igbo or around where our fathers worship are safer. Seha, draw them. They are symbol of the covenant and are not being worshipped. And the proof is that our fathers, when I worshipped with my father, before I get deceived into this mess, Caesar stuff, which thanks be to the Most High, who is now delivering me out of the darkness. They will bow, but they bow to and call on CHIUKWU OKIKE. They weren't bowing and calling on the written symbols or carvings, because the Caesar couldn't read them. It became idol that we worship, idol worshiper, but cannot keep even an altar. But they cannot even keep an altar, iota of the real thing, the covenant between us and our Father, CHIUKWU OKIKE. They kill with reckless abandon. They pollute with reckless abandon. They violate the Most High like He doesn't exist. They even act and claim in many ways that they are the Creator Himself. How can? Now, while I was walking through the wilderness in isolation, not forced by any man, and listening to the voice of the Most High, and hearing Him teach what is being preached, and being amazed and being witness and declaring that He is the only Creator of the Most High, to whom all praises and glory be, and all bowing. And we pray that He helps us not to use His name in vain, and to keep and guard this day of EKE UKWU, that He, EKE IDU N'OBA. So for those who are crying here and there, talking about they're Igbo, or who is Igbo or who is not, even people, brothers, blood brothers, and close brothers and closest, Bini, Yaroba, Banke, Idoma, Igala, Izon that is from CHIUKWU, a stone throw to the coast, nearest to the place of creation, claiming that they're not Igbo. Oh, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. Even Hausa, Wag, even Kishi, they call Kush. Even Meserem, they call Ijupota. Egypt. They are not Igbo. Even people from Mauritania, near where is today called Morocco. Morocco, if he reaches and tells, they call them Arab. Even that their Bible, that their book they call Babel, where did you read the Arab? And where did you read all these names? Some of them they're jamming up into the world about a little more than 1,000 years ago. And they wrote this Babylonian Talmud rammed into the Torah, the Igbo doctrine, teaching, covenant of CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiyama. Therefore, when the Most High asked us to go this place and dwell, he said, I made this place, I made this covenant and this place for you to live. And this is why we are Ibiri, Okibri Nwoke, Okibri Nwa. And not Ivory, not Ibri, not Hebrew, none of that both. So you can see and know for those, and while I was in this wilderness walking, I heard in the background all the hooplas, all the sighing, all this whining and complaining and the power struggle and command and control, without knowing what my people are supposed to be chasing. Is that chasing the fly? One of my teachers in secondary school in those days, Lionel Lobo, he will tell you, if you do not pay attention, my father used to say, get out of Ubo Ezedema or Ubokurubo. That vessel or that vehicle that you're trying to enter is a vehicle that is empty, and you do not want to know what is in it. It can hurt you. And Lion Label also used to tell us, when some people start playing while he's teaching, he tell them, say, start chasing the cow. Stop chasing what is chasing the cow instead of the cow itself. The envy and jealousy is too much. We have to correct and go back to CHIUKWU OKIKE and stop calling him and mixing his name with something else. Get out of religion. Get out of these religions if you have to make it, be able to make it. Even in physical terms, have you seen any successful revolution that succeeded with a religion? Chairman Mao, Lionel, what's this guy in Lenin, Stalin, George Washington, even the French Revolution, or even the British Revolution that cut off the head of of their Caesar king. Has anyone forgotten real quick the Magna Charta? That what is good for the indigenous people, whatever that is good for Caesar is also good for the indigenous people of Britain. So when you talk about British this, British that, you have to separate Caesar from the indigenous people. Talk about America, separate the indigenous people or the innocent people that lived here thousands and hundreds of thousands of years before the Caesar gets in there and causing this confusion. And even the people who they enslaved, majority of them were indigenous people. So when you see the Jamaican man, or the Caribbean man, or the man down there in Sao Paulo with this image, and you claim they all came from slave trade, think again. And this is going to be coming for us to know. And let's stop all this command and control. The only command and control we have here is a covenant our fathers made with CHIUKWU OKIKE, which we are about to confess and repent. And connect back for us to be saved, for his earth, for this land to be healed. So humble yourself according to the book of 2nd Chronicle 7 verses 14, which I quote almost of the time in all my videos. It's time to humble ourselves, confess, call on the real CHIUKWU OKIKE, the creator of our fathers, and depart from our wicked ways for our land, behalf of Biafra and this earth to be healed. You cannot use the lies of the hidden. You can depend on the forum upon forums, meetings upon meetings of the hidden to solve this existential threat facing the earth. Therefore, Biafra must come. For those of you looking for positions and scrambling all over the place in envy, who speaks better than you and who talks better than you and who has more leadership than you, quality than you, and who you don't or not, while what you're doing is good enough, you all need to get out of the house of exile, your religion and your pride, and the lead. And the trouble here, the big deal here is the inability to conduct the management of change, or MOC, at each time, at each period of this message. Because you detached, you can see you detached from CHIUKWU OKIKE. You have not even designed anything before, sized anything before, never run a little bit project before. All you rely on is paper colored paper, some of them fake. You got a degree, you're a graduate, you're intellectual, an Igbo. Peter Doche said, Umenani, without the covenant. And you doing that, you and your son running for election of the zoo. And to remind you, the whole world is a zoo. The whole world is lost. Nigeria is just a case study. So, when one of our fathers, Abiyama, the Yasha, the Jesha, the one that CHIUKWU OKIKE asked to Jesha, and he went and destroyed Baal and defeated Nimrod of Babylon. When the Most High visited him on his way to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham finally asked CHIUKWU OKIKE, if there is 5 people, the minimum of 5 people in this land, will you save them? And CHIUKWU said yes. And I believe and hope and pray to the Most High that we at least have 5 people remaining who believe and who toe the path of this righteousness called His covenant with our fathers. And if the rest wants to go to hell, will pass away, but not even a little tiny part of this His word will not, nothing will prevent His word to be fulfilled. And based on that, 5. That's why we say, all the glory and praises be to the Most High and the CHIUKWU. CHIUKWU is the greatest. And I hope everybody will go home, watch this, go home and ponder, and go back to the right command and control, which is the covenant our fathers made with CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiyama, our Father who is in heaven. This is why we call him CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiyama, because this is the person, the one He sent to go and confront, and He did, and confronted evil and succeeded. This is why we call him CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiyama, from Abia, from CHIUKWU, who went with his own woman. Can you see? Can you see why we say Ise? Ise? Ise?